Yes,
I hope you
yes.
don't wake up all right. Everything is
Yes.
okay, Abi?
Yeah. All is well, brother.
Now, the comment where you make that has made me attack you like this is that you said there is no continuity from Christianity, from Moses to Christianity to Islam.
Yes.
And you said that Christianity is Yahweh is leading you to
Allah.
to leading you to Jesus, and then Jesus is not, this cannot be leading you to Islam. So I want to start there. Given that you've chosen today to be speaking as a Christian, can you show me what exactly in the Old Testament is leading you absolutely to Jesus in a very clear, non-ambiguous way?
Well, I'm not speaking as a Christian, by the way. I'm just speaking at it, looking at it from a normal, my own position of it. Indeed, I know the argument you want to make. You want me to point out Jesus Christ for you in the Old Testament, isn't it? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, so the reason I say you're speaking like a Christian, because the Jews say that there's nothing in the Old Testament that's leading them to
Jesus Christ. Yes,
you say it is. So I want to understand the reasons that you said that something in the Old Testament leads you to Jesus.
Yes. I mean, I can still give you the same. It will still be the same verses and the same argument you've heard. It will still be the same argument you've heard about things that point to a Messiah coming. And then if you're looking for the name Jesus Christ verbatim on written there in the Old Testament, you won't find it. It's still by teachings, by doctrines, and then by reading the Old Testament and understanding it and following the shadow of Christ in there, it leads to Jesus Christ. But you won't find the word itself, Jesus Christ. It means you have to go through. Yes. You won't find that exact word of Jesus Christ. You won't find it.
Yeah, so no, obviously that will be a very ridiculous thing to claim, to request for a name. I'm not requesting for a name. I'm saying for you as an individual, I've also read the same things that you point out, Isaiah 48, Isaiah 53.
Yeah, all those
these
prophecies
things do not fit Jesus fully. Because do you accept that the Jews were looking for a triumphant Messiah, not a sacrificial Messiah?
Yes. They have a different idea of the Messiah they are looking for, isn't it? They are looking for somebody who is like a warlike kind of Messiah, right? He's not a sacrificial. I know the story.
Yeah, so they're looking for the one that will lead them out of get them back to glory, not one that will be sacrificed for their sin. Is that accurate?
Yes, you're correct.
So what part of the Old Testament indicates that there's going to be a sacrificial Messiah that will wipe sins?
That's what I'm saying again. It will still have to come through all those verses that you've read already, that you know, the Isaiah, the prophecies. There's a lot of things there. But then he goes through teachings and understanding. Then I have to take you through it. We can walk through it if you want to. I can point out the verses and we'll read them.
But I have the time.
But the thing is that in the end, you will not agree to it because you will be looking for Jesus Christ verbatim. I've made this argument myself, even putting Christians on the chokehold to find me how Jesus Christ appeared in the Old Testament. I can give you the arguments they made for me. It's not convincing though to me as an unbeliever, but for them it's convincing enough that Jesus Christ appeared in the Old Testament. And the Old Testament is, yes.
So I understand your position is someone that doesn't believe in God originally.
No, I don't believe in God.
Yeah. Yes. So that's fine. But I'm asking you as an analytical thinker, even though if you don't believe in God, show me what is convincing that shows that yes, this has to be Jesus and no one else.
And because the Old Testament in itself, the New Testament is a continuation. It has every criteria that show that Jesus Christ is referencing the main character of the Old Testament, which is Yahweh, which is the God of Jesus. The God of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so show me. So again, we are saying that the New Testament is referencing.
Turn on my computer.
Yeah, so you are saying that the New Testament is referencing the Old Testament. That doesn't mean the Old Testament is talking about the New Testament, because obviously the people writing the New Testament have the Old Testament right in front of them, so they can pick and choose what they want to reference. So I don't understand how you are saying because people that have the Old Testament and writing with it in front of them suddenly means that the Old Testament is now referencing the New Testament. I don't understand how that works for you as an analytical thinker.
Again, this is what you're not getting. I said Christian teaching. If you have to I'm the wrong person to make this argument with, bro. I'm the wrong person to make this argument with.
Yeah.
The Christian itself, based on Christian doctrine, based on Christian teaching. By the way, I am an ex-Christian myself. I read the Old Testament. I read the New Testament. As at the time I was a believer, Yes, from the Christian teachings and the Christian doctrines that I got, it correlates. There is no way I can remove the New Testament from the Old Testament, and there is no way I can disassociate Jesus Christ from the Old Testament, because I know the full story from the beginning to the end, and I know how it connects to. That's as a Christian, as a believer. For me, it does connect to every Christian. It does connect. But if you want to go through that passage, then you have to first of all become a believer of the Bible. You can argue it. The reason why you can argue it is because you're a Christian. I can argue a Muslim. I can argue it as well as an unbeliever. But as a Christian, you'll find the teachings there, and it helps them make the case, and it's very solid how they make the case.
So yeah, so that man, the reason why if you say things like that, I take it seriously, because I see you as an atheist. You don't have any
Yes,
skin in the game, and I do understand that sometimes you try to play devil's advocate just
yes,
to have a proper conversation. So
yeah,
when you tell me that there is something that will lead you as an analytical thinker to
yeah.
conclude that there is something in the Old Testament that leads you to the New Testament without doing the fallacy of starting from the New Testament and then now linking yourself back, then I want to see it because I'll take it seriously. If a Christian made the claim you made, I'll not even flinch. Wouldn't matter because these are Christians.
No, 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 no.
Someone that isn't a Christian making the same claim makes me curious, and I want to
No.
see what
I
is
think
it
it's.
that you still think. Yeah, so let me finish the point. I want to see what is it that you still think as an unbeliever that is still convincing for you to make the statement that there is something in the Old Testament that leads you to Jesus. If there is, please let me see it.
Again,
Please.
no, you cannot answer.
Why?
Again, who are you? You are saying why? Who
Sorry,
you be?
no, he's new. He's new. That one. Don't worry about him. He's new. Doesn't know
And it doesn't want to be. It doesn't want to be. You said.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah, striving. What you are saying is that me myself. You see this argument you made. This thing. This
Yeah.
question you're asking me. I make the argument. I hold it against the Christians to say, show me Jesus Christ. Even me myself, I have argued those prophecies, those Isaiah because they are not convincing for me. They are not to even see Jesus Christ. For me, personally, it's not convincing. It doesn't make any sense for me to find it. But as when I was a believer, it did to be asking this. It's like you're telling me now to make argument to convince me on something I'm not convinced in. I should now make that argument for myself. I already do not agree that the Jesus Christ himself even appeared in the Old Testament. I don't agree to that. But I know for a fact that Christians, they have teachings that leads from the Old Testament that then connects to Jesus Christ. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Is
All
yes, I
right.
don't hold
That's
that
fine.
position.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fine. The reason so I wasn't like so the point is for me, you can
I
still make
thought,
an
yeah.
academic statement to say that if you look at it, this is what it concludes without believing in the text. So I was
Yes,
thinking this
yes.
is what you are doing, but you are saying no, you're just
If
making a
if if
statement from
if
the
if,
point of
if
view of
I'm
the
making no no
Christians.
no no no. If I'm making being academic about it, me myself concluded I don't find Jesus Christ in the Old Testament. That one is for sure.
Okay.
I don't find
All
Jesus
right.
Christ there. I don't find Jesus
Okay.
Christ in the Old Testament. But I didn't think that's the argument you were coming to make. I think you were coming to make.
No.
I thought you were coming to tell me how the Old Testament will lead me to Muhammad without going outside every other thing that the Old Testament holds. How does the
No.
Bible
Yeah.
lead me to Islam? I think that's what I thought that's what you were coming to ask.
Yeah, so that's the second part of it. I wanted to get this one out of the way. So the second part of the question is you said that there is nothing in the Old Testament that will take you through New Testament to get you to the Islam, right? So I
Yes.
wanted to first see, let's get to the New Testament, then we can now move on. Let's start with the Old Testament to Islam. Are you seriously telling me that if you look at what Moses brought and compared to what the Prophet Muhammad brought, there's no continuation between the two? It
No
cannot be
continue.
from the same source?
No continuation. It cannot be from the
Can
same
you
source.
can you give me an example of why you have made this conclusion?
Yes, because when you look at the character Moses played in the Bible, it's stark different, very different from the role he played in the character he played in the Quran. It's not the same thing. It's
Okay.
not. It's not a
In what way?
continuation.
Can you give an example on how it is different from the?
Okay,
So we're
okay,
talking
okay.
about the. I'm coming. So
Yeah.
you want to talk about the story of Moses, not the
Yes.
doctrine of Moses,
The story of
right?
Moses, the doctrine of Moses, the law Moses brought, and all of those things. We have it in
Let's start with
yeah,
the doctrine. Let's start with the doctrine.
yeah.
Is the doctrine that Moses brought to his people so different from the one that Prophet Muhammad brought that it cannot be from the same source? Is that your position?
Well, they are not. It depends on what he brought in the. I don't know what he brought in Islam. To be honest, I don't know completely what he brought in
You know,
Islam. But the one,
I'm not saying
but the one in
I'm not talking about
Christianity,
what Moses brought. I'm saying
yeah,
what we find as the message of Moses in the Old
yeah,
Testament and the
mm,
message of the Prophet Muhammad that he brought to his people.
mm.
Are you saying that those two doctrines are so different that it cannot come from the same source?
Yeah. They are very different.
Okay, can you show me? Can you give me an example of why these two things are so different? The doctrines of Prophet Muhammad and the doctrine of Moses. Why
By
they
the
are
way,
so different that they cannot be from the same source?
they are very different. By the way, the teachings of the doctrines of Moses. Do you know what it is? How it is in the Bible about Moses in the Old Testament?
Yeah, I mean, I know some of the laws. I know the Ten Commandments. I know
Mm,
the laws, the 632 laws that he gave
mm,
that is recorded. Beyond
mm.
that, I don't know what else you are referencing. But I
All right,
want
all
if
right.
you could give me like specific examples that show
Yeah, I
this
have.
cannot be from the same source.
Yeah. That's what I'm asking. So, are you then saying now that everything about Moses in the Bible in the Old Testament, you take it to be the same as everything Allah gave the Moses in the Quran? Are you saying that
So
everything Old Testament, or
yeah,
let's credit the 5 books of the Old Testament? Let's give it to Moses because he wrote it. Let's say Moses wrote
okay,
those verses. Are you saying that those
yeah.
5 verses of the Bible, the Torah itself, in the Bible, are you saying it's the same as it appears in the Quran?
No, so that's a category error because I don't hold that the five books were written by Moses. I believe that
You
this is
you
the
don't
work of
hold it
men.
right. You don't hold
Yeah,
that.
I
You
don't
don't
hold
hold
it.
it right,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. So I don't.
That is why this argument is a struggle because
Just hold on.
at,
Just hold on.
yes,
Listen
go
to me
ahead.
first. Yeah. So I don't hold that everything that he wrote, all the things you find in the first five books are coming from Moses. So
I
that
hold
would
that as
be.
a Christian. I hold that as a
So hold
Christian. I
on.
hold that.
So hold on. Yeah. So hold on. So I don't hold that it does. However, if I do an overall view and look at the overall message, I can make the conclusion that this is coming from the same source, even though there are
Even
changes happening there.
wait. Are you going to then take everything you find in that Old Testament, or are you going to say some things are wrong?
So again, obviously there are things there that are wrong.
And
This is why,
it cannot be coming from the same source now. We are saying we are trying to see if everything is going to be the same. If you say it's
yeah,
the same,
but how can so again, how can a mistake in the document not mean that
mm,
it's not from the same source? What will qualify for you as two things coming from the same source? They have to be everything 100% alike.
yes.
Okay, so you don't. Are you saying that the God of the Old Testament does not change laws? That the law he has given from Adam has been the same law all the way to Moses, such that we cannot expect to see a difference in the law?
The God of the Old Testament, he only gave one, if you call it law to Adam. He didn't give Adam many laws. He didn't give him many laws. He only just told him not to do something. That's basically in the Old Testament. I don't know in the Quran if he gave him other laws. It's just
So
one.
I'm
I
talking
know.
about subsequent prophets, all the way you get down to Moses. So I'm saying, does God change law for new people, or is it one law from the time of Adam through the subsequent prophets all the way to Moses, such that we cannot expect to see a difference in the law going forward from Moses, according to the Old Testament?
Come again. I didn't understand that part. Sir.
So I'm not talking about Adam specifically. I'm saying
Mm,
if you look at the laws God keep giving his different prophets, starting from
mm,
Adam to Noah to Job
mm,
to Solomon to David, all the way
mm,
to Moses, are we
mm.
able to make the conclusion that God does not change his law at all? It is the same law that we see with Moses going all the way back to Adam, such
Yeah,
that we will
I
not
think,
expect. Yeah, let me finish the point. Such
okay.
that we will not expect to see a difference in a change in the law from Moses going forward down to the prophet.
Yeah, but the thing here is that where I'm getting confused here, I don't know if I forgot it. In the Bible, it's only Moses that had all this law, all this David and Solomon and Noah and all these people you mentioned. I don't know which law God gave to them
Yeah.
in
Does God
his
change his law
Christianity.
according to the Old Testament? That's the question. Is
No,
it
he
possible
doesn't.
for God to
He
change
doesn't. No, he
law from
doesn't.
one prophet to the other?
It's not possible, and he cannot give Moses one thing here
Yeah.
different.
So are you
Yeah.
saying that let's look at the dietary law, for example? Are you saying that the
Mm.
dietary law that Moses had is the same one that Noah had and Abraham had?
Well, I will have to. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The law was given to. Is there any dietary law given to Abraham? Do you have it? Do you know where I can find it in the verse? Can a
So
Christian help me with that?
okay, so let's look at, for example, the Sabbath.
Hmm.
Let's look at the Sabbath, for example.
Hmm.
Had Abraham commanded to keep the Sabbath?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Okay. So the answer would be no. So which means for Abraham and his children, Saturday was free. They could do whatever they wanted, but it wasn't for the Moses and his people because it was to signify and they're being saved from captivity. If you follow
Mm.
Exodus,
Mm.
is that not a change in the law of God as regards to Saturday?
Well, that cannot be. I wouldn't say that is a change. I wouldn't
How
say.
have you said that there's one time there is no law for Saturday, then there's now law for Saturday, and you say it's not a change?
Are we picking these things by which one change? Are we doing it one after the other? I'm confused here, brother. I'm struggling to
So, all right.
understand
So
how this comes.
let me
I'm
try to break
struggling.
it
I
down
tell
for
you, I'm
you. Yeah.
struggling a lot.
So, yeah. So the first point you made is to say that we do not see the law of the Prophet Muhammad and the law of Moses being the same, which means you're
Ye-
implying that if they are from the same source, they have to be 100% the same in every
100,
aspect.
yes, 100,
Yeah. So I'm
everything,
trying
and
to show you that the law of God is not the same, it's not seen in that way, because we see that God does change law for different prophets. So it will not be out of place for God to change the law for a new prophet.
it's not only law that we are even talking about, bro. Christianity in itself, Islam in
We are
itself.
starting with law with Moses. We are starting with law so
Eh,
that I
eh,
want to see if why it is that you cannot conclude that this is from the same source.
It's not,
That's what
yeah,
I'm trying to
well,
do here.
yes, in the overall, the whole package itself, because then I'm moving now from Christianity. I'm moving from something different completely, isn't it? I'm now going into something new. It's a new thing entirely. It's not a continue. For instance, now, when you talk about Moses now, when you look at other prophets that still came in the Bible, they are all still speaking around the same thing. You see, around the same
All
character,
right.
the Isaiah, the Ezekiah, all of them, all the other prophets
All
in
right.
the Bible, they are all still speaking about the same thing, and it's still the same mode, it's still the same way, you know. But then when we now move from there and now go to Islam, it's now something different entirely that they are now speaking of. Even the
All
stories
right.
I know in the Bible is now different from these same prophets that we can still mention. The same story I've known about them. So I have to unlearn and then relearn the new one from Islam. So it's not the same thing. That's what I'm saying.
So let's slow it down. Let's calm down. Let's take a few seconds to breathe. Okay? All
Mm,
right. Let's start from the top. You went down to the Old Testament, including Isaiah. We've not
mm,
reached there yet. Let's start with the Moses.
mm.
Was the main message of Moses from God that they should worship one God?
Yes,
Was that the main message of Prophet Muhammad?
yes,
Did he also command his people to follow the law of God?
yes,
Did Prophet Muhammad do that the same?
yes.
Did the Prophet Muhammad acknowledge that you have to accept the previous prophets?
Yes.
Did Moses do the same?
Mm.
Did Prophet Muhammad recognize the law that were given to Moses people, like the Sabbath?
I didn't hear you again.
Did the Prophet Muhammad did he recognize the law that was given to the Moses and his people, like the Sabbath?
Well, I don't know. You tell me that one. Did he?
Yes, he did.
Do
There are a few
Muslims
verses in
observe?
chapter.
Do Muslims observe the Sabbath?
So I said it recognizes that the law was given.
Yeah, but do they observe it? Do they observe it?
No, they don't. They don't.
So if I move
Because
from Christianity now, I won't observe the Sabbath, right?
yeah, and I'll tell
Then
you
I
why.
will.
Because
Okay.
God,
Yeah. Tell me why.
because in the Quran, God tells us that the reason the Sabbath was given was because the Jews choose it for themselves. So the
Mm,
Jews did a few things, and they basically selected some of the laws they wanted. So they asked for it, and they were given. So it wasn't
mhm.
something that was binding for everybody. It was binding for them because they asked for it. They were given a day to observe. They said they wanted to observe Saturday, and then it was made mandatory for them as a
So
test.
basically, even as a Christian, I'm not supposed to be observing the Sabbath day, as you're saying.
So Christian, you'll have to go to the source of legislation. I'm
So
trying
I
to
don't
show you
have
the
to. So I
correlation
don't have
between
to.
Islam and Moses first. I'm not
So
going to
so
Christian yet.
So I shouldn't observe the Sabbath day. Even as a Christian now, I shouldn't be observing the Sabbath day.
I can't give you the law of Christians. I'm comparing Moses and Prophet Muhammad.
Moses
Giving
gave
you
us
at
the law.
first.
Moses gave the law. Now Moses gave the law in Christianity
Yes,
that we
that's
should
why I'm
follow it.
comparing the two prophets before we bring in Christianity. Let me compare them and show you that there's a continuation.
Yeah, the thing is that Muhammad said we shouldn't anymore, but Moses said we should.
Yes, but he doesn't say that you can never stop it, or if anyone tells you to stop it, then he's not from the same
But Prophet didn't also Muhammad didn't ask us to stop it, did he?
He did. He did.
He said,
It
okay, he
says
asked us to
clearly,
stop it. He asked us to
yeah.
stop it.
And even the Jews today that follow him, if you are from the Jewish tribe, if you follow Islam, you are not supposed to follow the Sabbath because it's not.
We're still
It's
saying the
done
same
with away
thing.
with.
So I have to then dump all the things I've learned in Christianity. What do I bring from Christianity as continuation? Since it's the
This is
same
not
guy speaking.
Christianity. This is Moses. We have not touched Christianity yet.
I
We
knew
are still
Moses
talking
from
about
Christianity.
Moses.
Now, the Deuteronomy you gave me was written by Moses. So if Moses is pointing me to Muhammad or pointing me to Islam, I'm following Moses' teachings and he is leading me somewhere. He's leading me to Islam. So I'm following him now. Is what he says. Am I going to take anything from Moses and then or I'm going to dump everything I know about Moses except where he points me to Islam? Is that the only thing I'm going to take?
Okay. So again, remember the point we are trying to establish.
Mhm.
I'm trying to see if truly Moses and the Prophet Muhammad are so different that you cannot say they are from the same source. That's what I'm trying to do right now. So I'm trying to examine your point that what Prophet Muhammad brought and what
Mhm.
Moses brought are so different that you cannot say they are from the same source.
Yes, they are
That
so
is my
different.
issue with the statement you made.
Yeah,
So
they are so
I've been
different.
showing you laws. I've already established to you that God changes His law with His prophets. I'm showing you the main central core doctrines that Moses brought and the Prophet Muhammad brought, and I'm showing that they are the same. So I don't know
But
why you
that
are
is
still
not.
holding to your
Yeah,
conclusion, even
but
though the
that is
data
not.
is showing you different.
Yeah, but that is not just the only foundation. That is not even the main foundation of
So what
what
is the
makes me
foundation?
what
What
makes
is the
me a Christian.
foundation?
It's not just only about. It's not just only about Moses. It's not just only
No.
about Moses. It goes
Dark
far
man,
beyond. Yes.
can you just focus on, because again we can agree that Moses is not talking about Jesus, right? It's not like he's telling people to do what, or is the one commanding them to follow what Jesus is saying. Jesus is his own prophet giving them what to do. So you can't
Uh,
be back projecting Jesus onto Moses. Moses is independent.
again, bro. This is where we are having a confusion. Jesus Christ is not a prophet in Christianity. We are talking about moving from Christianity then to Islam.
I've not brought in
We are talking
Christianity.
about
You are not a
no,
Christian,
we are
dark
talking
man.
about we are talking about transition. That's my argument now that it doesn't work that that Christianity would then lead me to Islam because even Jesus.
But forget that part. We're not doing that
But
here. I am trying to
that's where I
I'm
would
taking it
like us
step
to
by
stay
step.
because that's my
Yeah, but let's
argument.
take
But
it
go
step
ahead.
by step.
Yeah, go
We're
ahead.
taking
But
it
that's
step
my
by step.
argument.
The first step was to get from Old Testament to New Testament. You said you don't agree that it does take you there. We started with let's get from Old Testament to New Testament. You said no, the evidence is not convincing for an unbeliever to make the conclusion that Old Testament is leading you to New Testament. So now
Hmm.
I'm trying to see is the Old Testament so different from the Quran that you cannot see they are from the same source. I mean, I'm taking it step by
Yes, it's
step.
so different. Yes, it's so different.
Yeah, but so then why do you keep making it Christianity when we've already established that there isn't evidence that will take you from Old Testament to New Testament without being a believer of Christianity?
But you are taking Moses to be the main character of the Old Testament or the only
Who
character
is
of the Old
then?
Testament.
Who is the main character of the Old
There are other
Testament?
characters.
Who is
Have
the
you read the
main
Old
one?
Testament? Have you read
Who
the Old
is the
Testament
main
yet?
Who is the main
There's no
character
main.
of the Old Testament?
God is the main character there. God is the main character there. He's the one saying, and in that character,
Okay,
if you're
all
yes,
right.
and if you're going to argue it as a Christian,
Let's
in that
simplify.
main
Let's
character,
simplify.
he even introduced Jesus Christ. He said a lot of things that points to
So hold
Jesus
on,
Christ.
hold
It's
on.
not Moses that is the main
Let's
character of the
simplify.
Old Testament.
Let's simplify. Moses, we are limiting ourselves to Moses and the 5 books as
You are
you
the
take
one
it.
doing it. You are the one doing that.
I
You are
am,
the one
yes, because I
you are
want
the
to do
one
that.
thinking.
I want to take it step by step. I
Uh-huh.
want to take it step by step. So I want to start with Moses and what he brought in the Old Testament, which is the
Mm-hmm.
first 5 books. Let's start
Mm-hmm.
there. Is the
Mm-hmm.
first 5 books so different from what the Prophet Muhammad brought that you cannot say they are from the same source? It's a yes or no question.
What books am I comparing in Islam with these 5 books? What books am I using?
All the doctrine of Islam and the doctrine of the first 5 books. That's what I'm
So
comparing.
you find all the doctrines of Islam. You find it in these five Torah, these 5 books.
Again, my conclusion from reading the first 5 books is that they are not from the same difference from a different source. That yes, these are from the same source even if you cannot establish it coming
Where
from
they are
Jesus.
from, where they are from, they are from different sources. Because if you the first five,
You keep saying that,
yes,
but you have not given
yes,
evidence for
it
why you
does,
are
it
saying
does,
that.
bro. It does. The stories are different, but you're only mentioning
Give
the
me
character.
evidence.
Wait, you are only mentioning character. You're only mentioning Moses and saying the
Give
lost
me the
Moses.
evidence as to why
Yes,
it
the
is
wait
different. It
now.
cannot be the same
Wait, the
source.
Old Testament starts from somewhere. It starts from Genesis. That is where you have the creation story. Is the creation story in the Old Testament and the creation story that Muhammad brought, is it the same?
The creation story is not the same
Why is it different if it's the same source?
because the one who is writing the creation story in the Old Testament is not the prophet; it's the people.
It's Moses.
That's
It's
why you have
Moses. It's
multiple.
Moses. It's
It's not.
Moses. It's Moses.
According to Old Testament
No, it's
scholars, there are
Moses. It's
multiple
Moses that
voices.
wrote it, bro. It's Moses that wrote Genesis.
Do you have the evidence for that?
Then why are we
Because
make,
I'm telling you
what are
what
we
the
doing here
scholars.
now? Host, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? If we are
Calm
going
down,
to agree that it's Moses and you are
calm
saying it's
down,
the same thing, yeah, you are
calm down.
taking bro, let's understand what you are
Just
arguing.
pause.
Go
Ahmed.
ahead. Let me understand.
Are you familiar that there are scholars, academic scholars that you can respect that are not believers that have studied the Old Testament, the first five books, in its original language? Do you recognize that
Eh,
there are people like that?
bro, you are asking me this one now to not answer you as an atheist. If you want me to answer you as an atheist, you want
Yes,
us to
I'm asking
have
you to answer me as an atheist, not as a believer. I've said
but
that
then
since the beginning.
but then you wouldn't hold me to the things I said about the New Testament, the Old Testament, and the Quran being
I am
different.
asking you
That
as
one
a
stands.
rational thinker.
Yeah, it
I'm
stands.
asking you as a rational thinker who has read the books without any emotional,
Yeah, yeah.
skin in it. You don't have. That's why I told you from the onset.
Yes, I agree.
As a rational
Historically,
thinker,
I agree.
I take your
Historically,
opinion as something I need to take seriously. If you tell me that this
yeah.
is what you see as someone that doesn't care, doesn't have any
Okay.
skin in it, I take it seriously. That's why I'm asking you
I
the
agree.
question. That's why I said if you were a
I
Christian
agree.
saying the things you said, I wouldn't care.
I agree. If we are going to look at it
So
historically,
yeah, so
yes, you cannot
give
prove
it to
that
me
Moses.
as an atheist, not
I
as
agree.
someone that believes in it. Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's
What do you
no
agree?
historical. There's no how you can trace it historically to say Moses wrote it by himself. I agree to that one.
Okay. Do you also see that according to the scholarship that they are saying that there are multiple authors of the
Yes.
first five books?
Yes.
All right. Now, as an observer, without a skin in the game, are you saying that what you see as Moses, what they are claiming that Moses brought,
Mm,
and what the Muslims are claiming that Prophet Muhammad brought,
mm.
are so divergent that they cannot be from the same source? Is this what
Yes.
your conclusion is as an
Exactly. Yes.
unbiased thinker?
Yes.
This is your
Yes.
conclusion.
That's
Why
my
is that the
conclusion.
conclusion?
Yes, I
Why?
said then when I pick the two books, when I pick the like the creation story I gave you as an example now. In it's Genesis, it's in the book of Genesis. It's written by a particular person. If we are going to say it's Moses, bro, we are going to say it's Moses. I take it, I read the creation story in the Old Testament, and then I go to Islam, I hear the creation story, and if it's coming from the same source, it's different. What you have in the
All right.
Quran it's very, very different from what I have in the Old Testament that
So we
I've
have
read.
just 2 more minutes. Yeah. So tell me
Yeah,
what
that
is
I've
this?
read.
What is so different about the two stories that they cannot be from the same source? What is so different about the two stories?
Well, I know how God created Adam in the Old Testament. I know how He created the Garden of Eden in the Old Testament.
So let's start with Adam. We have to. We can only deal with one.
I know what
What is it about the creation of Adam that is different from the one found in Islam? What is different about it?
How was Adam created in Islam?
He was created from mud, and then he was asked to be, and then he was.
He was in the Old Testament. He was created from mud as well, and then they breathed into him, and then he came to life. Was
So
that
what's
how
different
he?
about the true story? That's
Was
how
he?
it was
Did
in
they
the
breathe?
Quran.
Okay. Then what did he
Yes.
do? Then what did he do to Allah that made Allah kick him out?
He ate from the tree.
He ate from the tree, right? And then Allah kicked him out.
Yes.
Where was this happening? Was he already on earth, or in Islam was he
No,
already on earth?
he wasn't on earth. He was with God up in the heaven.
Okay, he
That
was.
where he was
Adam
in the
was
garden.
created. Adam was created in the heaven with where Allah is.
With where the angels are. Yes, that's where he was created.
But that is not. But in Christianity,
in the garden.
No, in Christianity that's a different one. He was actually created in there. He's not with God.
He was created where?
He was created in the garden on earth. He was created on earth. It's not like
but
he
the
was there.
So if he was created if the garden is on earth, then how did he come down?
Bro, you cannot argue. That is not me now that will argue. I'm telling you that it's not the same thing. It's not me that will make that argument.
Okay.
If it's the same source, if you have to ask the source.
So
You
hold
have
on, hold
to
on.
ask the source. The
Just
source
hold
says
on, please.
something different here. It says something
Yeah,
different
so
here.
sorry, just hold on. So
Mm.
please, host, if you can just give just 1 extra minute so that we can just close this point. Okay. Is it possible, host?
Yes, Rose, I beg, give us like a small time. Let's just round up.
Just 2 minutes is fine, if it's possible.